Do you hear that? Well, just like what we hear, what we taste, and what we smell can sometimes bring back the most wonderful memories. And have I got one for you? You know, not all of us have shared the same memories when we were in our upbringing. I mean, we had the fundamentals, of course. It is to where that parents or loved ones had brought us up. If we were lucky, we had cousins, relatives that were within our own age that we could play with, uh, providing we had aunts and uncles to provide them. But aunts and uncles, now that's an interesting subject. A little bit odd in one sense, cliche in another. My point in saying is how many of us had our aunts and uncles or friends of our parents who would give us that commercialized greeting that would last no more than 1 minute and basically saying the same thing over and over. Oh, you're getting so big. Oh, you're so handsome. Oh, you're absolutely adorable. Oh, when you're going to play for the Red Sox? Just we'd get hovered with this, and it would last a few seconds, and sometimes maybe a minute. And of course, soon afterwards, when the relatives, aunts and uncles, would join our parents or for a hand of cards or discussion, we'd come over there to just say hello to them, and it would be, yeah, get away, kid, you bother me. It was just like some sort of sales pitch, just a boom, hand that to the kids, and that's it. But anyway, mind you, when I think of my aunts and uncles, uh, deep down, I think of people that I've come to love very much and appreciate for who they are, who they were, that is to say. Um, and not all aunts and uncles were like that with all kids. I had my version of them, but just like anybody else, we had an exception to the rule. That is my uncle Jack. He was definitely what you'd call an exception to the rule. He very jovial, sincere, but also uh, not somebody who would just give you that commercialized greeting, but somebody who would literally interact with you as well. Oh, but that wasn't the biggest thing. The biggest thing was just knowing he was coming over and it being a visit like from Santa Claus. That is to say, he would arrive with an abundance of toys. Now, I don't know what he did for a living, but he got the best toys. And when you were brought up in a family where you had a lot of push cart toys, cars and things, and somebody brings you some electronic and battery operated, it's like heaven on earth. And when he'd come and pay us a visit, I mean, we'd literally time it too. He lived about an hour north of us, and we would time him. Me and my brother would be on our walkie-talkies, and in the last 15 minutes that he was to arrive, we'd just, we'd be on like, stand by, all clear, no sign yet, no, Roger. It was ridiculous. And when sometimes that hour would go by and we'd be, oh my God, he's never coming. And then we'd hear this magical sound that usually found from some old Ford Model Ts when they were first being manufactured. That's right, a horn, an Ahooga horn. an Ahooga horn that he had attached to a 1969 Buick Skylark convertible. So imagine that, huh? And we'd be in the house, and all of a sudden we'd hear that. And it was the happiest sound on earth. Uncle Jack's here. Oh my God, it's Uncle Jack. And then he'd come to the door and everything like that. And we'd be trampling on my parents trying to keep it all under control. And of course, open up the door and there he'd be with a big bag with the Child World toy store and sign on the bags and everything. And then it was just like Halloween is to where when you're sorting out the candies, he'd sort out the toys, who's getting what. But even just getting one thing from him or just his presence alone was truly enough. It's because getting the toys, that was a wonderful thing. I mean, we weren't greedy, but what kid is going to turn down a toy? Now, come on. Any of us? I don't think so. But he did another thing when he would come and pay us a visit that my brother and I would just love. He wrestled with us. And he'd never hurt us at all and everything like that, but he'd get us into this clenching headlock that we just could not get out of. Wouldn't hurt us, but we couldn't get out of it. And of course he'd say, oh, say uncle, say uncle. And we'd be like, uncle. And we'd go a little tightening more. Say uncle, I can't hear you. That was a riot. And when he'd join our parents, he wouldn't, brush us off. And sometimes we'd go up and we'd tickle him, and he'd run after us, and we'd start the wrestling match all over again. Now, he wasn't the type of person that, there's some people that are like all around, and nobody's perfect. I mean, he's not somebody you could just walk up and say, oh, I got a problem, or my heart is broken, and everything like that. And it's not that he wouldn't have understood, or that you couldn't have a heart-to-heart with him. It's just that we really didn't take him that way. We loved him for what he was and what he provided for us, that's all it needed to be. He didn't need to be perfect. Who is? There was another quality about him that I loved so much that I found very inspiring. Inspiring in music, because he played the guitar and he sang locally, not big time. He didn't make any albums or CDs and so forth, but I remember his voice. I'll never forget it. He had this haughty voice that you could hear 3 blocks away. Now, I know you're probably thinking that, oh, he probably's not hearing that. Oh my God, that loud, it'd be disturbing the peace. No, he had a fantastic voice, a voice I'll never forget. And the sad thing about it is that there's no recording of it or whatnot, or that any of us had recorded. But I thank God I have the memory in my head. I can hear his voice right now. And the type of guitar he played was a Yamaha, as to which my little toy there, so to speak, same type. And, and he played country and Western music. And it just brought so much joy, not to us kids, but to a lot of people. And I'll never, ever forget him for that. I'll never forget, or try not to forget, any of my aunts and uncles from what they contributed to my life, because they loved me and I loved them. And each of them had their own way and their own special way. And I have to say, though, when I come to think of it, though, my Uncle Jack was just something a little extra special. And I'll never forget him. So, thank you, Uncle Jack, as I say this, and as we close, on how special you are.